Welcome to Marc Clarke on the Mark Friday, and we want to have some technical difficulties. That's why it took me so long. Welcome to the show, and it's Friday, so Friday's entertainment and sports. It's light, and whatever you want to talk about, you're welcome to join this live broadcast. If you are on Google Plus, I'm sure you're in my circles. Even if you're not in my circles, I think you're allowed. So try. All I got to do is click on join and join the conversation that I'm having alone. So entertainment, we're going to kick things off with sports entertainment. Let's mix them today. I guess big news, the welcome back. Having technical difficulties. So today we are starting off with sports, and on Fridays we'll do sports and entertainment. The big sports news today: Rock Nation signs CC Sabathia, so JayZ's Rock Nation continues to garner more stars to the roster. Now, what trips me out about this, as far as the coverage of JayZ's company and the signing of Kano and CC Sabathia and others, is on ESPN and other sports shows, they keep asking the question, is this going to work? Will it be successful? What do other agents have to say about this? Do they think, JayZ's company is going to be legitimate? I mean, it's ridiculous. And I think this is a prime example of the paradigm shift that's going on with celebrities and with athletes and actors, and really the brown athlete, the ethnic athlete, the non-white athlete. When LeBron James uh, dropped his agent and had his friends represent him, his childhood friends represent him, that changed the game. Because I think I created rap music of this generation of young athletes and musicians and entertainers. They are really focused on being entrepreneurs. And when, for so many years, uh, the Jewish agents and the high profile white agents basically, were always where the stars would go to. They were at the top of they were top of the game, have been in the top of the game for some time. So if you were an aspiring athlete and you wanted to get the best deal, you know, you had to go with the best, and the best just happened to be the Jewish agents, the white agents, the big names. So now enters JayZ. Well, first of all, I'll start with LeBron. When LeBron, the biggest star in the game, representing the future of basketball, when he signs his boys, and again, they were, I mean, they were qualified from a standpoint of they were in the sports industry for years. They were studying how to play the game, and when he made that move, it changed the paradigm because you had this young superstar that many emulate decide to go with people that look like him and that he knows. And the fact that he was the biggest star meant that he can command the biggest salary. So basically, he could say, "Look, his his, repres his representatives could say, how much is the highest paid person in this sport making? Well, he needs to make more." And that same thing goes to all of the endorsement deals that came after that. Who makes the most? He needs to make more. He's LeBron James. He's the king. So that, those at the top of the sports agency game, they knew that they had to do something. And JayZ, who's very smart and a master of what's going on as far as pop culture and business, he also sees the opportunity. I'm curious. One day maybe we'll know. Did they reach out to him? Did a CAA reach out to him, or did someone put a bug in his ear, or was JayZ, was his vision so sharp that he saw it? That okay, so now, unlike our generation, I'm almost 50. Our generation, where we really didn't know what to do, and we always felt like you just go with the best name. The young kids raised on the JayZs and the Dame Dashes and the Lil Waynes and the Baby and Birdman, they thought about, or they think about it like, well, if JayZ has all these brands and Jay-Z and Beyonce have all these brands and all these relations and all these connections, and they're doing things that I want to do, that I'm interested in, and I want to be like him, this generation has, JayZ has this generation's ear. And that has changed it, because the old big boys realize that all it takes is, 5 years, and all the young athletes will be going with a guy like JayZ. So they either need to get somebody and partner with someone who looks like JayZ, or is made like JayZ as far as the connections and what he has and represents, or they're going to lose out. It's just a matter of time. So like Scott Boras has been probably the most vocal agent who's been saying, basically, yeah, is this going to work? I doubt if it's going to work, because he realizes he's in trouble. He's in trouble, because these young kids are not like us old guys. They have a whole new way of, and that's something that never gets talked about, really. We always talk about what they're not doing, what this generation is not doing. What they are doing is they are pushing entrepreneurship. They want to own their own labels. They want to own their own companies. They want to be their own. They want to be the boss. And that's a good thing that we really don't spend a lot of time on. We always talk about what they're not doing. They're not like we are. They're disrespectful. But the game has been disrespectful to the athlete or the artist for so many years. I think there's a paradigm shift there. Will JayZ's company be successful? Of course it's going to be successful. How can it not be successful? You sign with JayZ, and he's going to connect you to what the brands he's in control of, and future opportunities, and the things that you enjoy doing, the lifestyle that you enjoy. You'll be able to enjoy it and understand, talk with someone who understands where you're coming from and where you came from. Man, that's powerful. And that's something that I never hear them talk about on the sports stations. You just never do, And so that's my philosophy of what's going on with JayZ and what's going on with this the sports world. I didn't know that. I think Kevin Durant is supposed to be signed. I don't know if is he officially signed to Roc Nation. I think that's coming again. Roc Nation and Kevin Durant. I think, there's so much upside for so many of these stars, because though the stars are, huge in the sports world, to see them in other places is a challenge. And I think a company like Roc Nation and the JayZ, they understand it, they get it, they know what would fit. And so I'm curious to see what happens. I'm curious to see in 10 years what the agency game even looks like, because in sports in general, you're seeing where that relationship, again, how it was for us is not how it is for the young guys. I mean, in our day, a coach could be a 60, 70-year-old guy that you give your heart for and respect, and you grind it out. And, did he understand where you're coming from? Not, probably not. I remember at my high school in little old Springfield, Illinois, I never forget, Coach Utsi, who probably at the time was in his 60s, but we all loved Coach Utsi. And he pulled me aside as one of the young guys that he respected and he trusted. And he said, "Let me ask you something. What does tight mean? We tight." I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He was trying to find out if we tight meant that they, that some of the players were they high? What is we tight? I said, not necessarily. I said, we tight means we tight, and we boys. We're friends. We're compatriots. What does we tight mean? I'm supposed to be the snitch? No, but I mean, now, of course, now we tight. I was tight could mean that, but of course I didn't tell him that. Again, not understanding. JayZ knows what we tight means. And so that coach that we grew up with and loved, it's different, man. You look at the NFL, like, Pete Carroll, Seahawks. This team, these guys, secondary, brash, over the top, super confident, talk a lot of trash. Now, in the old days, some coaches wouldn't put up with that, right? When we say wouldn't put up with it, we forget these are grown-ass men. And if you can't connect with them, I think, the coach from college going into the NFL, some have failed, most have failed, but or take a couple times to go through it. But I think that connection piece cannot be undervalued. And I think that's why you're seeing some of the college coaches do well. You're starting to see black coaches get a shot because those that run things are saying, okay, wait a minute. We need somebody that can relate to Clowney. We need somebody that can relate to the new players who are superstars because we're not relating, and we got to do something. So, like I said, in 10 years, I'm anxious to see what not only the agency game but the whole sports game looks like. So let's see. So that's CC Sabathia signing with Roc Nation, and the thing also is interesting about that. I mean, CC still has I think 2 or 3 years left. So Roc Nation is not really signing. That money's already, I think it's like $7 million or something like that. That money's already spoken for. What Roc Nation is probably going to try to tap into is the fact that the Yankees are, old, and the Rodriguez story is leading, leading the news, the front pages, and so there's going to be an opportunity for the Yankees to try to get some positive spin. And I think there's a lot that Roc Nation and JayZ can really do to really get a CC Sabathia out there connecting with New York. You know what I'm saying? Bringing it to the boroughs and the different places that they never really have done it right. So you can get it's a couple things. When Major League Baseball gets it wrong, that means that the player's agent, if they get it right, there's a whole bunch of opportunity that's not being explored. And look at baseball. I mean, baseball and the Hispanic influence in baseball and all that opportunity is not really being tapped into as far as attaching these stars to brands. In New York and in cities like New York and across the world. And I mean that, the world. So there's a lot of opportunity. For so many years, again, baseball did not do what it was supposed to do. So now you get a player signed to Roc Nation, and then Roc Nation can do it with individual players. Then what happens? You do a campaign that's successful with an individual player, and then baseball will knock you, right? Not knock you, but will copy the success of that. All right, so moving to entertainment now. A lot of the stories, a lot of the entertainment shows talking about the Oscar nominations and movies that got shunned. Oprah is on the list. Robert Redford is on the list. I don't know why some of these movies. Tom Hanks didn't get a nomination. I don't know why some of these actresses and actors and even movies did not get the knock. But I tell you what, I hope it's that. I hope The Butler didn't get rejected or pushed to the side. I hope it's not because there were a lot of movies starring African Americans, and I hope it's not because people have a tendency to almost like say, well, hey, look, if we do this, I can't do that. You know what I mean? And there's no way to ever know it, but I just hope that's not the reason. And I'll tell you, if I'm honest, Mandela, I can tell you my opinion why Mandela got, you know, didn't get the love that some thought it should get. If I'm honest, and I'm a huge Idris Elba fan, I love Idris, man, big fan. The movie was great, but I think Idris, what I learned about my my love of Idris as an actor, and two things working against him in this movie. Number one, he played Nelson Mandela as an old man for a large part of the movie, and I think it's hard to take the prosthetic thing seriously. For me, it is. Especially, it's one thing when you're playing, like in The Butler, as Forrest Whitaker and Oprah aged, they had to put on the makeup, and it worked because they weren't people that you knew. I mean, you weren't used to their image. You weren't used to their seeing them. But when it's someone or like Nelson Mandela, the images you've seen for so many years, it's just so hard to do it. And so you have Idris. First of all, I thought about this as I watched the movie. Kind of a problem. Idris Elba, Nelson Mandela. Do you have to look exactly like the person to be effective? Not really. But when you don't, it does take a hit. Case in point, I think it was a made-for-TV movie. Sidney Poitier playing Thurgood Marshall. For me, hell of an actor, Sidney. But I never connected because I never felt the connection. Because physically, Sidney Poitier and Thurgood Marshall are just totally two different types, and it's just my mind couldn't handle it. Jeffrey Wright playing Martin Luther King Jr. Amazing actor. Mine couldn't really connect. Another prosthetic situation that didn't work, or the makeup that didn't work, was Laz Alonso in Spike Lee's, what was it, Saint Anne, the movie, the something at Saint Anne. Yeah, no. It was. I love the movie. I love Spike Lee, but I did not buy Laz as an old man. He looked like Laz in a plastic helmet with makeup on it. And so, back to Mandela. Here are a couple things. Remember when Denzel Washington played Malcolm X? Denzel, much like Idris Elba, his essence is so strong that it bleeds into whoever he's playing, whatever character he's playing. So, you know what I mean? It's almost always a piece of Denzel in whatever character he's playing. Now, in Malcolm X, though, and in Biko, because Biko, he was younger and he wasn't Denzel yet. He lost himself, he lost himself in those characters. And in Malcolm X, you have a tendency to, when you remember Malcolm X, sometimes the image of Denzel playing Malcolm X pops into your mind, right? Now, Idris in Mandela, it wasn't the case. From his walk to his essence, it was almost so strong, so powerful, so charismatic that you always felt like, well, that's Idris. That's not Mandela, And I guess because we saw the older Mandela, it was harder to imagine a Mandela like that. Then, so the second part of the problem, so then when Idris plays the older Mandela, he still physically is Idris, so he kind of has this kind of he would be a pumped up Mandela at the very least. Then you throw on top of that old makeup, and now you have Mandela. It almost looks like, it almost like Jim Brown. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like Jim Brown as Mandela. I mean, it's just a little too beefy for Mandela as an old man. Like, it looked like Mandela could kick your ass and snap some necks if he had to. So that's kind of a problem. Yeah, that's kind of a problem for Mandela, and I just think that really worked against Mandela. To me, I mean, it really was. I love the movie. Capturing the story, an amazing story. I love Mandela. I love Idris, but I just think the movie. I think sadly the makeup and Idris's strong self maybe wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't good. I can't say it wasn't good, but it was too much Idris probably. How would he disappear? Probably lose. He probably would have had to lose 20 more pounds. He probably would have to. That's probably it. And then the makeup piece. It's just hard. It's hard to do. I mean, you almost could get an award for acting in makeup, right? Especially that kind of acting where, again, this is an icon. This is a guy. He's on a stamp. I mean, actually, I don't know if he's on a stamp, but I'm saying, him too well. It's like, and so it almost really does that. Getting that person who looks just like him, or it almost is it seems to be very important, or someone who can lose themselves in the character. So those are my two biggest stories for today. And again, this is day 2 with the live. So we're live on a few platforms, live on Google Plus, live on YouTube, and also I need to send a shout out because it'll be broadcast on iHeartRadio also and on Spreaker. So we got a lot of things jumping off. It's Friday. Have a great one. I'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat station. And I really do encourage, if you are interested in coming on and during an open chat, I'd love to have you. Just go to Google. If you're on Google Plus, just look up Marc Clarke and send me something. Send me a hey, and I'll put you in my circle. And you don't even have to be in my circle to do this. So I look forward to hearing and seeing from you. And for those who are watching this, when you're watching it not live, what's up? How you doing? Appreciate the support. I got a couple things going on I want you to know about. Men on Scandal. Me, Troy Johnson, Tony Scott, we do Men on Scandal, which is our take on the hottest show on television, Scandal. And if there's a break going on right now, but if you want to get caught up, please go to Talkin, TALKIN 360.com. That's my man Tony Scott's website, Talking 360. Go there and get caught up on all the Men on Scandal. They're hilarious. Also, on Talkin360.com, Tony and I have another show that we call Two Dads and Six Daughters, and we talk about what's going on being dads to daughters. So it's great. Also, that's on Talking 360. And what else? Well, I think that's about. Go to my other website, marksgreentruck.com. I'm in the midst of a 100-day raw fest, meaning I'm only eating raw fruits and vegetables, and for 100 days. And then after that, for 2014, I'll be vegetarian. So I'm on day 20, 22 or 23, I can't remember. And so things are going well. So Marks, MARCS, greentruck.com. Check that out. All right. And of course, I'm on WHUR, and also you can also, other website is bigphatmorningshow.com, bigfatmorningshow.com, with also information. So thanks again for watching, listening, and I look forward to seeing you, hearing you on Monday.